just mic'd up with Mikie Mahtook. Got the boys in. I got Lloyd. We got J Mitch. We got Jackie Boyd.
He tried to jump up, and he might have knocked it in.
Good timing. Let's go. What a start to the Monday. I mean, I'm from Lafayette. My boys will come in and say,
oh, God. So me and Joe on the ground. I got Joe in the headlock. And he's sitting there, he's punching me in the stomach, like, punching me.
Here, is everyone sitting around? Who here thinks Ochinko can practice today after having 5 full beers? And he goes, Chad Jones, right? Chad doing 6 minutes. For 7 minutes, right? Chad's like, no, man, I don't think Ochinko can practice today. And I was like, I look back, I'm like, Jesus Christ. I saw you there. You were more fucked up than me.
On the spirit plane had some issues, I think. She was sleep farting.
you heard her or you just thought it was her?
I sat right next to her. I smelled it.
Whoa. What was that?
Good show.
Now, when you do go to spring training, are you gonna bring your chinchilla and your turtle?
My dad tell you about it.
The SEC is, God, they hate fat people. I mean, I get crushed for that. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
Hey, just the South, bro. You got a bunch of food down here. Like they should.
Players, look at Lloyd.
You know what, Lloyd?
You're looking for a recruiting coordinator, coach. I'm here.
He's like, I'll piss my pants right now.
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now.
Hello. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. Today is Wednesday, September 18th. Got a big show for you today. It's a beautiful Wednesday. It's Ask Mikey and Mitch Wednesday. We've promoted it. We actually didn't forget to promote it this time. We did it. It was out there on social media. I don't know if we have any questions. I don't know if we have any questions in there. If you didn't put any questions in social media, throw it in the chat right now. We're going to get to them through the course of the show. It's going to be a fun show, like it always is.
Paging Dr. Fonz.
Yeah, he's always the initiator. which I like. Got to have somebody to step up and be a leader. He's a leader in there. I love that. A lot to talk about. Obviously, LSU UCLA weekend. UCLA is not the same UCLA team. Actually, I don't know if UCLA's been good for a minute, but they've been better than they are right now.
Microphone's plugged in.
Chip Kelly got out of there for a reason, Coach.
Chip Kelly got out there. Didn't want to recruit.
Go
Didn't want to
on.
pay.
For a reason.
Benedict Arnold.
They had a 5-star quarterback last year, Dante Moore.
He got out of there, too?
Got out of there. He's not starting at Oregon. He left. So it seems like UCLA is trying to figure some stuff out. Can't take them lightly. That's the coach speak side of it. But this is a weekend where you can really look at LSU.
As
and be
Coach
like,
Kelly
hey,
would say, every week is a new week.
every week isn't it? It's a week-to-week league.
Yeah.
You gotta be good that given week, or anything can happen. We saw that last weekend at South Carolina. South Carolina, though, their defense is going to end up being one of the top, probably a top 25 defense in the country when it's all said and done. I would imagine maybe better than that. They're really good, so that was a good test. Obviously, LSU escapes. A lot of conversation in the media world stemmed from CBS Sports about the disconnect between team and Brian Kelly. Why is it disconnected? Feels like he's kind of separated from the team. Didn't look like that after the game. Didn't really look like that is the case when you come down from 17-0 on the road. People love to create narratives based off of one or two people who may or may not have the inside information, may not be their sources. I don't know. It's
People
kind of a weird deal.
familiar with LSU football have said, who could that be? Anybody. Me.
It could be anybody, right? You could be person on Tiger Droppings that doesn't have a face, just talks through a name. You know?
Cocksuck 89.
Whatever it is.
What?
He could be, I'm surprised you went with 89 there.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, surprised you went with 8. That number's a weird
I
number.
think the other one was kind of, that was
Yeah.
a lot right there.
Yeah.
That was aggressive.
But you don't know who it could be from. He comes out. It doesn't seem like that's the case. Kyron Lacey comes out and speaks about how he doesn't feel that's the case. You can look at the energy. You can look at the locker room after a win. Did seem like that was the case. Seems like that's kind of a narrative that's trying to be created to have something to talk about.
Even if it was the case, like you said, the locker room I saw after a win lets me know that even if that's how they feel about him, they still bought in together.
And that's all that matters.
They still bought in together.
Hey,
That's all
listen
that
to
really
me.
matters at that point.
There's been a lot of teams that have gone on to win. The coach may be good at certain things and not good at maybe the players don't like him, and maybe they all rally around each other because they don't like the coach or there's something that's going on and they play well anyway in spite of him. I don't think that's the case anyway. But my point is as long as there's a paywall,
got cut.
they got your ass. As long as there is a continuity between the guys playing on the field, that's the most important thing. Seems like they are doing that. I think it was Braden Swinson said that he could feel on the sidelines throughout the course of the South Carolina game, the team getting closer and building that team chemistry as they're chipping away and coming back from a 17-0 lead.
And
Those
the
games
Tigers.
are the games that you feel like
Man, we came out
kind
here
of
battle, baby.
define
Hey, go
the
Tigers. This is for everybody back
make the
home,
team,
man. We ain't
allows
done
you
yet.
to
Let's go.
grow, give them that confidence because you look at teams who are good, they know how to win. And they find ways to win. They do all these types of things. Obviously, you're watching this. Like, looks like they're having a pretty
well,
good
I'm about
time.
to say, you can think of it this way, too. Like, let's be honest. You know what's great? When you have a team that's bought into the head coach, that's a great thing. You know what's even better? When you got a team that's bought into a brotherhood of themselves. Like, that
No
plays
doubt.
even better. That plays even higher than just being bought into the coach. So I'm not worried about that, right? I'm not worried about that nonsense.
Not worried about it at all. And to me, like we talked all week, or we talked on Monday, majority of the show of why, they kind of squeaked through. You know, they had some things that they had to correct, and that is all true, right? It was a sloppy game. It wasn't a game that we all expected or we wanted to see. But they won the game after being down by 3 scores and on the road. And those types of games, learning how to win those games, especially at this point in the season, especially after you lost the first game of the season, you lose that game, then all of a sudden you're like, oh, we don't really know how to win. Like, you kind of get that feeling at the end of the game, like, oh, here we go again. Instead, you go out and you pull through and you win, and now you're like, okay, yeah, here we go again. Let's go out and win this game. So I think that's always a good thing to have, and I think that the disconnect that is being reported, I think, is a little bit overblown.
Yeah, I'll add a little extra to that, too, because you got to remember, football's not a game that you get to play multiple times a week. Like, you get it one time a week as a player. So there is a lot of panic, whether people want to tell it or not. There's a lot of panic with young teams or teams that are not super experienced or have not played a ton together. There's a lot of panic that goes in 1, 2, 3 weeks into the season when you lost the game and you're down 3 scores in another game. Because then people really start looking at it, they start kind of questioning themselves like, hey, do they know what they're doing? Because look at the score right now. We getting smacked. Dude, why are we practicing this and this is what's going on? Like, there's a lot of that stuff that goes on. So to be able to have a loss on the record and come back from 3 scores down 3 weeks into the year lets me know, like, they're good. They're fine.
No doubt.
They'll keep rolling.
And that kind of brings us into the last little bit we're going to talk about today is Thursday Night Football tomorrow. Patriots at Jets. Jets' first home game of the season. Hopefully, it works out better. It happened last year.
Need more than 4 plays.
Yep, we need you more than that. They're 1-1. You can kind of start to feel that he's feeling better. Aaron Rodgers starting to feel more comfortable. They made some plays last week. Big test for them because obviously Patriots aren't going to score and they're going to try not to let you score because their defense is, Gerard Mayo's got the defense.
Salty dogs.
Pretty good. So that'll be Thursday Night Football. It'll be interesting to watch. But we talk about learning how to win. We talk about what LSU did last week against South Carolina. They have UCLA this weekend. They open as a 21-point favorite. I don't know if the line has shifted one way or the other. It's a big line. To me, you got to see LSU go out there this weekend and dominate. And I'm not saying like treat them like they're nickels or treat them like they're a team that you're going to beat by 50 points. And no, I'm talking about you're going to go out there. You're not going to let them get any yards. You're not
let them
scoring,
gain another yard.
Yeah, exactly. Like moving the ball has got to be difficult for them. You've got to make their life really hard. And then on the flip side, offensively, you got to continue to do what you've been doing for the last 3 weeks and move the ball up and down the field, score points, and just say, hey, we are better than you, and we're going to show you that we're better than you. Move on to the next game until you get to the bye week. So to me, that's what you need to see. Do y'all agree?
Yeah, I mean they scored 16 and 13 in the first 2 games respectively.
Hawaii?
Yeah, Hawaii and Indiana, and the 13 was scored at home against Indiana. I think this is a team that, like you said, I'm not saying that they got to go out there and score 50, but what I would like to see is you actually dominate the game and make a statement this game. Like, I got to see the defense take a step forward. I got to see some clean ball on offense, which we've gotten for the most part, but I got to see the defense take a step forward this week. I think this is a big week for that group, confidence-wise, and for them to kind of be able to start pushing themselves to where they need to be because there's a big one looming in a couple weeks as well.
No, and look, this is a game where you have a lot of young guys that are trying to make their name, and especially on the defensive side of the football. And this is a game where you're able to use these guys and give these guys more game experience against a team that's better than like a Nichols or better than some of these smaller South Alabama you're playing with next week. For sure, right? So you get to go play against a team that's kind of a middle tier, and they are.
South Alabama's salty.
Are they?
I said talent-wise.
Yeah.
Sure, baby.
No, talent-wise, yes.
And
Football focused in South Alabama.
And so you have the ability to go up against these teams and kind of hone your skills a little bit. Hey, we got more on-field experience. We have the ability to learn from the mistakes that we made in South Carolina, and you have the ability to get better, get ready for the Ole Miss game, right? UCLA has a quarterback, Ethan Garbers. He's the one who beat out Dante Moore last year, even though Dante Moore ended up playing. They weren't very good. Well, Ethan Garbers is not having a great year.
Ethan Garbage?
He's been Ethan Garbage. So far, he has 409 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. This is against Hawaii and Indiana. Now, Indiana may be a wagon. One of those big wagons. But
Oregon Trail?
we have an old school Oregon Trail. We can go across the whole thing. Wagon, right?
Damn, y'all old.
Making sure they can take the whole
Don't get dysentery.
village, right? Came out of nowhere. So, look, they're probably better than what everybody thought with Indiana, the name of Indiana on the schedule. But regardless, one touchdown, 3 interceptions, hasn't played very well. He only has a 54% completion percentage. And so, in my mind, that's like, hey, defensive line, get after him, put pressure on him. Hey, secondary, Use this game to go out there and, like, gain some confidence. Go make some plays on the ball. Show me some ball skills in the secondary. Those 50-50 balls that have gone the opposite direction should be going your way now. And so it gives you a couple weeks, like Jared said, to put yourself in a position to be the most successful when you play Ole Miss October 12th weekend.
And you speak about the 50-50 balls. Look, at the end of the day, those would be great to win. Yeah. I want to see a more disciplined defense, and I mean more discipline up front, and especially – particularly in the run game. I think that's kind of the run fits and the discipline up in that situation. That's where I think they need to be better at. I think the better you are at that. Like, I'm fine the way we've played on the back end and then the pass game so far. Am I saying it's perfect? No, it's not perfect, and there's better things that you can be doing. But where I think they need to, quote-unquote, start really making steps at is the run fits. They need to be better up there, and I think that this is an opportunity for you to go out there and kind of really take a step forward and get there, and that's what I really am looking for as this thing kind of kicks off.
100% agree, and I guess another flip side of that on the opposite side of the football, you want to be disciplined up front on the defensive side. I need to see you be more disciplined and dominant up front on the offensive side and continue that momentum you built last week with the run game. Continue to go do that. Move the defensive line out the way. The offensive line is supposed to be the strength. They did not have a great game last week against South Carolina. I'd like to see them come out and rebound and have that game this weekend against UCLA. So those are some of the things that you need to see, all right? Not that I want to see, that you need to see. Because, as great as that scene was after the game of them winning and celebrating and being being with each other and having that chemistry, you've got to build on what that is, and that starts with the on-the-field performance and the on-field. The more you do that, and the saltier you get on defense, and the more discipline you get, and the better you're playing, the more fun those locker rooms are going to be as the season goes on.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one thing that the game will be judged upon, and if there's big play busts on the defensive side. Like,
right.
Everybody keeps pointing to that as opposed to looking at the turnovers that LSU was starting to create and the havoc create. All of these things where you didn't see any of that last year. It's come out in spades this year, and that's obviously through one person, same players. And Blake Baker has implemented a new defense and a new defensive plan that creates chaos on the offense. But with that comes the opportunity to hit big plays where you're not expecting it, but because you're bringing so much pressure and trying to do so many things defensively, it comes down to one or two players that you have to make a tackle. I believe that if LSU goes into UCLA, and regardless of score, the questions will be, did you give up a 65, 75, 85-yard touchdown?
Right, because here's the deal, right? We said South Carolina ran for 247.
I'm so bright.
You can't talk about, but they only had 3 big plays. That's part of the game, right? But if you cut down in the future, if you cut down that, it wasn't like, and Jared made a good point before the show started, it wasn't like South Carolina every carry was 5 to 10 yard gains, right? Yeah, they had some chunk plays, but there were moments in the game where LSU's defense didn't let them run, and they stopped, right? Sporadic drives, it wasn't consistent, and then they would pop the long run. So if you just cut those down in the future, then I think the defense looks significantly better. Now, part of that is because of the not being disciplined and where in your run fits and not being disciplined in what your role is. And I think that's the biggest change. It has nothing to do with talent. It has nothing to do with not being able to do it. It has everything to do with, hey, I'm just trying to make plays that maybe I don't need to try to make. I need to worry about where I'm at and let somebody else make that play.
Yeah. When I think about the other side of the ball, too, now realize.
Chris Hilton plays, you think?
We'll save that for Ask Mikey and Mitch.
There you go.
When I look at the offensive side of the ball, I'm sitting there thinking it's funny you mentioned Chris Hilton because he's one of the reasons why this person is getting the opportunity that he's getting right now. But I'm not saying that it's going to manifest in more touches and or more catches in this game because of the simple fact that you have UCLA this week. I'm not sure exactly how competitive they'll be. And then you got South Alabama next week. But because of the game that's looming and because of what it's going to mean to the rest of your season going forward, I would imagine that they're going to kind of keep some of these new wrinkles that they probably have or want to introduce or want to bring in the game. Sure, they're going to kind of try to keep these under wraps. I want to see how much more run, how many more snaps, how much more involved is Aaron Anderson going to be?
Yeah.
Because, let's be honest, with the absences of the players, of the Kyle Parkers, of the Chris Hiltons, the guys that have been hurt, he's gotten a chance to play more, and he's popped.
Yeah.
This would be straight up.
He had 2 big plays down the field.
He's been
last week.
2 weeks in a row or 2 games in a row. He's been a lot on the chunk side of it. And it's like, hey, if we could start getting, because if you remember, taking back to when he was in high school, dude, that's what he was. He was Mr. Grab Your Popcorn. Like he was a big play waiting to happen. And now that he's getting into this offense and you're able to kind of move him around and he's able to run the vertical routes, he's able to run the over routes, you can get him the ball underneath. If you can start using him in that role even more, oh my God, it opens up this thing, right? Because you already have a playmaker in Kyron. You already have Mr. Steady Eddie and Daniels, right? Like you're creating a trio of guys who can really cause you some problems on that side. So I want to see, like I said, not so much that he's going to touch the ball more, or they're going to start manufacturing ways more in this game. How much more is he on the field, though? How much more is he involved? Because I think that's going to bode into what's going to happen 3 weeks from now.
So you look at his stat line last week, he had 5 catches for 96 yards. He led the team in receiving yards, right? So it wasn't gimmicky plays. It was, hey, you're going to be in the flow of the offense. You're going to be running deep routes. And they threw to him in crucial situations. Yeah. And, sometimes you need someone, like we talked about it on Monday, you need someone to step up when they need you to step up. Caden Durham did that at the running back position. Aaron Anderson's done that since the season started. Hey, we haven't had Chris Hilton. Who's going to be our number 3? Who's going to be the deep threat over the top? I think he's starting to find that way. I would also like to see them get Xavier Thomas the ball more. Somehow, some way, give him the ball. And look, with the way they're utilizing Xavier Thomas is the way that I thought they were going to utilize Aaron Anderson. I thought it was going to be flipped before the year because Xavier Thomas a little bit bigger. It feels like he's not the same size as Aaron Anderson. He's kind of the same skill set, but a little bit bigger of a wide receiver. So I thought he was going to be in routes a lot more than he has been. Aaron Anderson has obviously taken that role. So
also with him too.
You, though.
And look, they've done it a couple times throughout the season so far. But because of how successful Caden Durham was able to come in and play in the backfield, his size and his ability is very much like Xavier Thomas, right? And you would imagine like, hey, okay, we've given him the ball out the backfield a couple times in this pop. If we don't feel like we're really getting what we need out of the other 2 backs, we can still keep finding ways to mix him in that number as well. Right. And so, like, I do think like stuff like that is going to happen. Like I said, you got 2 weeks where you don't need to be super pretty. You just need to go dominate.
Yep.
I'm not sure how much you're going to see that before you get to Ole Miss.
And that was going to be my question, is how much do you think that they show offensively?
I mean, look, you want to go out there and you're not suppressing the playbook, but the stuff that you've put on tape in 3 weeks already, you want to be able to kind of go out there and refine those things and really be able to run those things at will right now. And then, obviously, these new wrinkles and this new stuff, because let's be honest, they do like really good coordinators. They don't just prepare for that game that week. Like they've been preparing for that game. So you would imagine that maybe they're probably not opening this stuff up in these games right now. We'll see. But like I said, I don't expect it to really be – I don't expect it to be so different here as far as for what you see. But maybe you see Xavier Thomas motioned into the backfield more. Maybe he's not actually touching the ball, but just getting the mind on it, he's there. Getting in the feel, he's there. That's those things I kind of look for.
San Francisco.
Yeah.
Right? San Francisco, the 49ers do that a lot with their wide receivers. Debo, obviously, is kind of a running back / more of a wide receiver, but running back / wide receiver.
Get him the football.
Right. Get him the ball no matter where he's at. He's in the formation, so the defense takes into that account, right? The running back's not there. He's not, but now he's a running back, and so defense is kind of in a different situation they probably want to be in. And Xavier Thomas, obviously, with the ball at the backfield, looks good running. Look,
it's natural.
Exactly. Being a running back, it's a lot about vision, a lot about understanding or angles, understanding where the hole is going to be and where your cutback lanes are going to be. Wide receiver is not necessarily that way. It's more about running the route first, catching the ball second, right? Making sure you're open, right? And he can attest that. He was a wide receiver, right? You're not getting the ball at the line of scrimmage and saying, hey, okay, follow your blockers and maneuver your way through it. So it's kind of an adjustment. He does that really well. It seems like he's got part of why he's probably a really good punt returner.
I mean, it's 100% why he's a good punt returner.
He has great
he's a
vision.
playmaker. He's really good with the ball in his hand. He's able to do things when the ball is in his hand. And I'm not at all saying that he can't play receiver and he can't do those things. I'm not saying that as well. But usually, good coaches, when you have guys that you identify that can do that really well, you start trying to find ways to get him the ball all the time. And I think that's kind of something they've been working in there very slowly. I would imagine that they're still going to be kind of slow right now. Because, like I said, when you get to that game next month against Ole Miss, you want to be clicking on all cylinders and not actually have every trick that's in the bag kind of out there and already seen a little bit.
Right. And then Kyle Parker looks like he's getting back healthy, right? He wasn't really healthy last week.
No, he's a gamer.
He gutted it out, dude. Like, good for him. Trying to get back out there. I think he understands, like, hey, your best availability or your best ability. Best ability is availability. Like, I got to be available. I got to be out there. I also got to show these guys that I'm willing to be out there when I'm not 100%. I'm not making a dig at anybody. But he was out there and he was grinding. I'd like to see Chris Hilton back on the field at some point. It doesn't.
He can also run a deep dig.
I mean, I'm not in the locker room. I don't have.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about him.
Anything against him, but all I know is that we don't know of anything that's broken or anything that's torn. We don't know of anything like that. Like I said, they may not. Maybe they haven't given it all. But like, if it's not that, we kind of need to see him get back out there. I feel like there's something that he can add to that room more than just being on the sideline, and I feel like that's where he needs to be.
Right.
The only information I have is from a medical website that said a bone bruise takes at least a month to heal, and then there's more internet fodder that said it's more complicated than that.
Depends on. I know what a bone bruise is. Depends on how bad it is, right? Like, it could linger, and yes, it is it's a nagging injury. It's an aggravating injury to have. I'm not saying he's not hurt at all. I'm not saying, because I know he wants to play on the field. Hurt. Right?
Coach, let me tell you
something. You'd like to see him out there.
Once the day one when they put those pads on in camp, everybody's hurt.
No doubt.
like that's where you get at that point. And I'm not. It is what it is. But at some point, got to be able to get back out there and kind of push yourself through some things, some uncomfortable things, to get to a different spot. And there's a lot that he can add to that room if he's on the field and actually doing it. That's what we need to see, because it helps the team a lot more.
It's been a testament to LSU, though, with the amount of weapons that you have and how you've been able to kind of piecework this thing together with Aaron Anderson doing more things than I think he was asked of probably before the year, to where he's expanded his route tree, expanded what was asked of him. And I do think there's another layer of LSU if you add Chris Hilton to the mix, of a guy that's a straight threat every time he steps on the field. Because make no mistake about it, when he was at camp and he was healthy and he was playing, he was a fixture of that offense. And you saw them trying to get Shelton Sampson going a little bit. Like, they're trying to
Did he get a target?
Yeah. 2.
And not around him?
No, just a couple of, like, throwaways, and one that was like I think it was a shot in the end zone.
Was
that
it an actual throwaways? It's not a target.
No, but he was the guy that they were trying to get the ball to. Is I guess the best way to put it. Wasn't open, but they wanted to do what Chris Hilton does with him, where it was you're the vertical threat or a big body in the end zone. Chris Hilton, like I said, in camp healthy, he was a mainstay of that offense. Like, there's a piece of the puzzle that's still missing, but I'll give as much, I guess, shit as Joe Sloan's taken a little bit for being predictable and not being able to. It feels like whenever this guy's in, he's getting the ball, and like it feels a little bit predictable, a little stale. He's missing one of his weapons that I think he kind of built some of the offense around.
You felt like it's been predictable?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
You felt like it's been predictable? I haven't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I really haven't.
I do. I think there's been some moments where you go to the triple, what do you call it, the T backfield, and you do it 3 times in a row to the same side.
Coach, it's 3 weeks. It's 3 plays in 3 weeks.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying that's just the reference.
Yeah, I talked about that play too. I'm just talking about over the totality of a game. When you watch them and they have the ball, do you feel like, oh, I know exactly what's coming right here? That's the only time that goal line is the only time in 3 games where I'm like, all right, you can't do that.
No, and this is what I'll also say is the passing game has been very much relied upon. I don't think that's predictable, but I think that because you've been, all right, Caleb Jackson's in the game, it feels like this is what they want to do.
Well, see,
Josh Williams in the game, it feels like, that's all I'm saying.
I know what you're saying. I'm with him. I'm not even arguing.
Well, I'm not arguing. I'm asking you because I want to know what you see as predictable.
So in my mind,
I'm asking.
There's packages of people that they put in the football game where it feels like this. That you very much want to get him the ball in this situation.
Well, right, of course. But that's any offense. You're just gonna have to evolve it, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna have to be in the game more, right? And if you go look at last week, there's a 3rd and 13. Handoff to
Third-
Caden Durham's very
and 9.
unpredictable. Whatever. 3rd and 9, very unpredictable.
Right.
Score
There's a
touchdown,
reason you highlight
basically.
it.
Right? And so, for me, wouldn't consider him predictable.
And by the way, just to sidebar, we never really talked about it. I wish we could actually show stuff like that, but that play was called by what they saw, I think, 2 plays before.
Right.
With the front that they lined up with and how they played it.
Fight.
The way they came back and played it, I think that's a whole lot to why they did it that way.
Right.
And it's, I think
I
when I
have no
look
problem
at
with the
the
offensive
full
coordinator.
game, just me personally, when I've looked at how they've called the full game, I think he's been damn good so far.
Well, I think that's, and I'll agree with you because I think that's a testament to what LSU has done is adjusted and in-game adjusted, whether it be defensively or offensively. There's been times where it came out like this was the kind of what you wanted to do, and that's going to be my next question. Is do you think that they force feed a little bit of the running game early on against UCLA just to try to let's see if we can do it?
Well, they've been trying that for 3 weeks.
Right, but I'm saying a game that you feel like you can play with your food a little bit. Do you try to see even if they're in a run front? Let's try to figure this thing out.
I
Whenever you
don't
got
think
to
it's
get
like a
it.
force feed. I think so far in the year, I feel like they've come out. If there's any criticism I feel about, truly feel about what they've done game plan wise and how they've put stuff together is I would like to see them come out being a little more aggressive in terms of trying to score. I think they've done a lot of stuff just to kind of see what you're going to do with it, and they've played around going side to side, and it's almost bit them in the ass a couple times, where it has one time, really, obviously, you end up losing one game. I feel like if we can kind of come into games, slap somebody in the mouth a little bit and let them know you're here, right, and push the ball that way, I think it'll start opening up that 53.5 that you make people defend side to side. I think we, that needs to be a little bit more of what we're doing, and that's what I haven't really seen them do. But I know you're not asking that, but as far as for if that's predictable, that's not to me. I just don't like the way that it's been a lot of side to side instead of some north to south to kind of open you up.
Well, to stay on that point,
I think it's been both. I think you're trying to open up the middle by going side to side, or you can open up side to side by going up the middle.
No, you can. 100% you can. You can start moving people, but my point is you keep going side to side to start. You haven't given anybody anything to respect by going side to side.
Your finesse, not physical.
Right. We got the best offensive line in the country, so say, right? And even if you're outside the building saying so say, I know for a fact inside the building they're saying we got the best offensive line in the country. So if we got that, let's slap somebody in the mouth and let's move that thing forward first, and then we'll start making them respect all of this as well.
Staying on this forward
North-south
conversation, right? I would like for them to, you talk about being predictable I would like for them to put the running backs that you have in the game in a position to succeed. Basically, highlight the strengths that they have. Doesn't feel like Josh Williams and Caleb Jackson have been they don't feel like they're that type of running back that they've been trying to use them as. I'm not a coach. I'm not at practice, but Caden Durham feels like he's kind of got that wiggle and he's got that type of running back. I would like to see them go more north-south, like he's talking about, be more physical, hit the hole with a little bit more confidence. It feels like they're kind of feeling for it right now.
Yeah, I would, and that's what I say. I don't even know if that's on coaching. I think that's a running back decision where they're just not seeing it as clearly. And Caden Durham that can happen. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. In a Frank Wilson running back room, he feeds the hot hand, and you've seen it with John Emery, and you saw it again with Caden Durham. There's no real sense to name a running back one. I think they can all do it, but you're seeing a little bit of hesitancy by Josh Williams and by Caleb Jackson. It feels like a tick slow.
I'm going to be honest with you. The whole running back one, if you will, at this point.
It's out the window.
Yeah. Unless we're literally sitting there looking at a this year first-round guy, pretty much. You look around the country, there is no running back one. It's a committee pretty much everywhere. It's a room. It's a stable. And obviously at LSU for a long time it's kind of been that. But I don't care about that. I do think, like you said, though, these other guys, and maybe they aren't seeing it. Maybe they aren't seeing it because this really isn't their style of run. It's possible. So if they're not seeing it, but they're talented, we need to start finding ways to get them. Like, I don't think Derrick Henry sees it very well side to side, but when you get him behind and you get him to dot the I, he's running motherfuckers over.
Yeah.
Right? He'll do that all day. Get them in spots where they can start seeing it and they'll start doing better.
And that's the positive of Joe Sloan, to see them get under center. Like you hadn't seen it until you saw it against South Carolina, and it's something that obviously Nussmeier's comfortable doing this, and now you start getting a running back that is, if you get Caleb Jackson moving downhill,
Right.
and I think that'll open up some things for him because you saw him bust one and it was on the outside, but you at least saw him get.
He's got enough speed.
That's what I'm saying. Plenty talented. I think that's the frustration with what's happening at the running back position.
But you could tell they start to kind of figure that out a little bit in the second half. I like to see them continue that. At the end of the day, it comes down to just being dominant, right? And being dominant doesn't necessarily mean winning 50-0. Being dominant means, hey, we're going to do what we want to do when we want to do it. You're not going to give you anything, and that may end up being a 35-7 win.
If I saw 28,
30-7,
if I saw 35-10, or if I saw a 35-3 game, I'd be ecstatic.
No doubt.
This week.
You
really would be.
Right. And look, if they score a touchdown, they have a drive, occasionally, or one drive out of the one big drive out of the whole game because it happened on a gimmicky type of play, I can swallow that. But but having these big busts in the defense,
you're on a roll.
having these big busts in the defense. And allowing guys to run right through them,
right through the hole.
Run right through the hole.
This is football. What are we talking about here?
Having that happen over and over again is not very good.
And over again
is not very good. If you watched, McAfee this morning, they had a lot of going on. That's what they need to do, right?
Right, y'all true.
You didn't see it this morning? That's what they said. You have to keep pounding it up there.
Big. Gaping
right
holes.
So I'm okay with a gimmicky type of play, but you cannot allow
have a seven play 75-yard drive right in your face.
Well, and like big chunk runs. Can't have that. And so that to me would be a dominant performance, even if they win 28-7,
and a lot of this is
28-10.
Oh. You better score more than that. A lot of this is predicated on what you've seen defensively because Garber has rushed for 83 yards with you when you discount the sacks. So you take those out of the equation. He has 83 rush yards.
Why does college still do that?
I don't know, but I'm not the commissioner. And when they actually run the ball the traditional way with the running back, 2.7 yards to carry with a long of 14.
Yeah, not great.
So if you have your longest rush of the year against LSU, then people will point to that because this fan base has a great propensity to point out the negative.
No doubt.
All I'm looking for is that third quarter that you saw. Give me 2, maybe 3 quarters of that.
1 yard?
That kind of play. Right? So that might mean maybe the first 2 drives you just get your shit pushed in.
Yeah.
Make an adjustment. Give me 3 quarters of that. Like if you could start, you did it for 1 real quarter against South Carolina, turn that into 2 or 3 quarters in this game. And then turn that into 4 quarters against South Alabama. Like that's how you start putting it together in my mind. Like I need to see you start playing that kind of ball, that brand of football.
Are y'all going to the game?
I might be in the air conditioning.
Suites?
Yeah.
What?
I hate to say it.
With who?
We got a whole clan.
With who?
Sweet.
Family?
No, some friends.
Wow. What suite?
A couple of tickets. I don't know.
Actual suite or stadium club?
Stadium club.
Okay. You're almost there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So not free alcohol.
Oh, it's free. I mean, I'd bring it in.
Fair enough. You going?
Yeah, I think I'll be there.
I get stadium. That's how you know I don't go up there often. I get them confused very easily.
Yeah, no, it's very easily confused
until you're in a suite.
They connect. The suite, you're in a suite.
Yeah.
Yes. I'll be there as well.
Nice.
Yep.
Sweet.
Yes.
Maybe I'll come say hey.
You have to finagle your way through it. They have the door. They have a guy. You have to just keep walking. Sometimes they stop you. Sometimes
they Lloyd.
They said that they're cracking down a little bit more on that. Just like they were in the baseball stadium.
That was a real come to Jesus meeting for your boy.
Yeah, that wasn't great. I didn't love that either.
Kind of ruled the roost that year. National champions. There it goes.
Are you kidding me?
I just threw it back. I was throwing it to you.
Oh, that was a Will Levis toss.
Yeah, just throw it.
Fuck are you doing?
With it.
But when you look at,
okay,
I'm just looking at some of these numbers that PFF has put out. Take it for what you will, but LSU should.
I wish I had my computer. GMC's
I know, I'm sorry.
Fucked me hard.
Yeah, could be a mistake of the day. It couldn't be Land Rover Peretti. They would never.
Land Rover, if they would give me, hey, interest rates got cut,
There you go.
so maybe.
Maybe.
Let me go give them a shot, Land Rover Peretti, and say, hey, listen, those new Range Rovers are fire. Take a few $1,000s off of those things, maybe. Give me a little deal on that.
I'll do a show in the car.
Yeah, can't get a Defender because my co-host has a Defender. I can't copy him. You know what I mean? Can't pull up in twin Defenders.
Whoa, no, if you put it like
can
that,
we?
you can.
Twin Defenders actually sounds pretty
A little
badass.
salt and pepper.
Just
Do the show from the car. Right there.
I get the white one, he gets the black one. It'd be better if we just flipped it.
Flipped it.
Yeah, right. I think that's how that would work.
Yeah, Jared gets to start his car whenever we leave.
I get the Range Rover Evoque, the little small Range Rover, just to have one. Like I was like, those
Getting
are
the
Pow-
lunchbox.
yeah.
I was like getting in and crunching them and just driving like this.
Incredible
you know?
Hulk.
No, I don't want to do that. But anyway, looking at the numbers.
Looking at the numbers,
Yes.
and this PFF, take it for what it is. UCLA run blocking 75th in the country, pass protection 95th. LSU's defense should absolutely feast, and with the offense that we all know we've seen from LSU thus far, feels like it could be one of those paint the scoreboard, pick a number.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
You need a game like that because you need to.
It's crazy, and it's
Don't
gonna
build this shit up, Lloyd. Because, like, I mean,
No.
this is the only reason why I'm saying this. You got to think about it. You're asking us to be able to run better. When you run better, unless you're busting 75-yard plays all the time, what else are you doing?
So he wants us.
That's not going to happen. We're not going. Lloyd, there's not going to be 5 70-yard touchdowns in the game. That doesn't mean you run better.
Lloyd wants Justin Jefferson's 97-yard touchdown every
yeah,
play.
if we're running the ball better, Lloyd, what does that mean?
No, I'm talking about defensively. They shouldn't.
I know, but
Lloyd wants to take the ball, go kneel it at the 1 yard line, and have 99 yards to go.
I'm winning Heisman tonight.
It's not going to happen.
Road to
That's not
glory.
going to happen. If we're
Hey,
running
going
the
to
ball
class.
better, Lloyd, what's going to happen as well?
Shoot the clock.
Okay. So, like, if we're sitting here saying, like, if they're thinking about it the same way, and if they actually go into the game saying we need to be able to start establishing this, and they start running the ball better, and they do it a lot better, don't be surprised if you don't see 40 on the board.
Right.
Just don't be. Like, I'm just being
Oh,
completely
no,
honest.
no, that but
I don't
40
think.
to
I don't
10.
think. I can't. I don't think we
I
should
don't want to
expect 40 though.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. And
Don't expect 40 points.
I'm not in the camp of you have to put up an Ole Miss number where it's 66-0, and this.
No, 40 is still a lot, dog.
That, me too. That's what, no, I'm agreeing with you. That's what I'm saying. Like,
but I'm just saying, like, we're setting people up to think, like, hey, man, if they win 31-10, like, that's a bad win. That's not enough.
I was more focused on the 10. I don't think that UCLA should be able to score if you fix some of the.
I think
things
10
that you
point. I think
fixed.
10 points is like.
Perfect.
Yeah, you don't want them to score
Spread's 24.5.
24.5. It went up 3.5 points.
Was it? As
It opened at 21.
Oh yeah.
Jesus, I should have got it 21.
Yeah.
Truth be
geez,
told, you keep them under 20 this game, I think you're in.
Yeah, that's a win.
Yeah,
I think that's a great spot.
I'd like to see him under 2 touchdowns, but I'm with you. Under 20, I think is a good goal.
You get that late the JV touchdown whenever everybody's rooting for
I
you.
mean, you could be under 2 touchdowns and still give up 3 field goals and a touchdown.
No, I'm talking about like the actual
like the actual
14.
number 14.
Yeah, 14.
I mean, goddamn, that's a lot.
Yeah, I
You're
know.
asking a lot.
I'm not saying I would be disappointed with 20. I said I would like that, which means
Absolutely, just win, baby camp.
okay. Just hey, listen,
Look
wins
better.
important. Wins important. I do want to see them be a dominant though. Like I do want to see them for one game.
Well, another reason why, like, I want to see it too is because you got to remember, like I said, I keep talking about this, but once you get to the Ole Miss week, that's another week of not truly shutting down something that you're giving them to be able to game plan against you as well. You want to kind of be able to start putting some stuff on tape that says, nah, don't think about that. That don't work here.
They scored 16 points against Hawaii in a win, 16-13, and Indiana, the wagon wheels,
13 points.
13 points
At home.
at home,
In game 2.
and Indiana put up 42. If you give me 42-13, I think everybody's
Indiana's
gonna be,
quarterback put up some numbers too. 3 for 307, I think, and 4 touchdowns against them.
Yeah, I think Nussmeier is in that number. Yeah, 307 for a touchdown. Wow. Curtis Roar. What is that? Where did that come from? No phone.
Yeah, I got it. I got it up here.
But 10 carries, 47 yards offensively. So maybe you won't run the ball.
No. So I mean, I think you got. It's a good game for where we're at right now in the season. Ask Mikey and Mitch if you don't have any questions. If you haven't thrown any questions in there, please do so.
We got a ton.
Perfect. Let's start it. Ask Mikey and Mitch, brought to you by our friends at Mead Heavy Civil. Mead Heavy Civil specializes in landed. Look, their logo is nice and pretty on the top left corner. Kiefer, if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, There it is. The little spinny thing's gonna be on there soon. Oh yeah, pull their website up. They got a cool website.
They gotta go. Oh, my dirt.
Cool website. Mead Heavy Civil specializes in land development. It's not black, I promise. It's gonna come on there. Specializes in land development and infrastructure projects across public works, residential, industrial, and commercial industries, from coastal restoration and large-scale excavations to solar farms and oil and gas pipelines. Mead is the powerhouse moving LSU forward with complete start-to-finish construction expertise. Visit meadheavycivil.com or give Kiefer Centers a call at 985-518-6774.
Mead Heavy Civil.
Mead Heavy Civil. All right. Ask Mike. There we go. Look at this. Look at that.
Look at that.
It's
That's
very
moving
satisfying.
Look at that dirt just
Very
moving.
satisfying.
Moving forward.
Very satisfying.
Look how easy that dirt just moving.
You could put this on a YouTube
Rocks.
stream if like trying to go to bed.
This is
If you had the sound from this, you'd sleep through the night.
no doubt.
No doubt.
100%.
No doubt. I want to put this on my screensaver for my computer. Just
It
like
is
when
mine.
It's just but I need to hear the noise. Yeah, that's what it sounds
Is
like.
that what it sounds like?
All right, give me some questions. Throw some questions at me.
A couple of questions coming your way as soon as I get the bump music underneath it. Here we go. This segment is called Ask Mikey and Mitch. Ask Mikey and Mitch from James B.
Hey,
1, 2,
not
3.
Fonz to start us off.
He's in here heavy. James B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5.
Nice. James B. 1-2 was out.
And then 1, 2, 3 was
Yeah,
out.
4,
I
5
had to
was
go
out
down
too.
the list. I get that.
4, 5 was out
James
too.
B. is a common name.
He's in I think some sort of fraternity.
Okay.
Ask Mikey and Mitch. Is Florida a better head coaching job than Ole Miss? And do you think Lane Kiffin would ever consider it? I personally think it is, but Lane will never leave.
100%. It's a better coaching job.
100% Lane will not consider it though. I don't believe.
I think he will. I don't see Lane. I don't foresee Lane. I don't know. I don't know if I can sit
You
here
try
and
to
say,
predict Lane's.
No. I don't know if I can sit here and say Florida's the one he wants. But what I can tell you is that I don't foresee Lane staying at Ole Miss for the next 10, 15. He's out of there when something else comes up, and I think that's in his.
Yeah, maybe. I was in the camp of that, and just for some reason I feel like he's happy where he's at there, and I think he's growing
He's
into
a lot happy until they turn this thing back into some sort of a
I think
salary cap, and you can no longer do what they're doing, like the
that's-
way that they're doing
that's
it,
the difference.
and that's when it's like, hey, I can't. You're not going to get it. So yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like I can see,
Yeah.
he's going to be out of there at some point.
Right.
This is a building
I don't.
block
But
place.
yeah, as far as considering the job right now, since they haven't changed,
Yeah, that's
the
what I
rules,
said. Like I don't
think
know
he's gonna
that
do it.
Florida is the spot that it is, or
But-
right now is the time. But yeah,
It is a better job
100%.
once they figure out all the. I mean, listen,
Just think of it this way.
it's been a mess they were in a way worse off spot than LSU was
Ooh.
the last 3 years ago. They were. It was a mess. It got Billy and Harry. I'm not defending him at all
You can.
because he struggled. He struggled over there, but he inherited, I think, more than we're not as close to the Florida program as we are to LSU program, obviously. So we saw what was going on at LSU. I think Florida was a little bit more behind the scenes in a mess as far as like recruits. I mean, Mullen wasn't recruiting.
I think that was taken out of context.
Do you?
Yeah, he said we're just not focused on recruiting right now.
I mean,
He
they
was
didn't,
it was a game week.
no, I understand that, but anyway, it didn't feel like they were in a good spot, regardless.
LSU had 40 scholarship players.
I understand that. But
And-
you're not competing when you're at LSU. You're not competing with the whole state of Florida and all these other big time universities. You have the ability to kind of bring people in there a little bit quicker and easier than you have to go and compete against
Then
Florida
why-
State, who's playing
It was
better.
Florida such a good job.
I'm saying it's a great job. I think it's a better job than Ole Miss. I'm just saying they're in a tough spot.
I know you're
when
laying
they
out all
do
of
it.
this competition, so why would I take it? Because if you make it good, it's great.
Because it's great, right? Florida out of all of those schools, they've had the most success.
Recently,
I mean,
not even.
Yeah, I guess in Spurrier.
Yeah, Spurrier and Urban.
yeah, right. But when Spurrier started is when they kind of became
They were a wagon.
the class of Florida, right? Like the state, like they're the team of the state. Now they've fallen off, but yeah, they were. I think it's a really good.
It's not a thing. It's I want to say the number is I think the top 10 cities in America with the most NFL players. I think it's 3 or 4 Florida state cities have the most players. So
Right.
basically, players are coming out of Florida.
Yeah, right.
So they have the backing there, and they have the athletes there if you can keep them there,
Yeah.
right? And it's a better job.
So I think it's a better job, but I
is.
do not think Lane Kiffin is gonna consider going to Florida.
They're gonna back up the meat heavy
No
civil
doubt.
truck.
No doubt. But Ole Miss will back it up again
I think that's
Dump
the
it,
question.
or just back it up.
and dump it,
Okay.
and then back
Man,
it
go
up
to
and
the next
back it up and back it up and dump it again.
Ask Mikey and Mitch. Roosevelt Historia at
Hey.
at History Pony.
I love history.
What incoming freshman curveball
ponies.
here? What incoming freshman on the 2025 baseball roster are you most looking forward to? Billy the Kid,
Who?
Willie Schmidt.
I am looking forward to him. I think that we can. I'm looking forward to Aaron Beatty. I got it right. Isn't that did I get it right? That's how he says it, right?
Say it again.
Aaron Beatty.
Oh yeah,
I'm excited to watch him.
Aaron Beatty.
Aaron Beatty.
yeah.
Yeah.
Aaron Beatty.
I'm excited to watch him as a freshman catcher. Because if he's as good as they say he is, and as good as we think that he can be, especially early on, that's a guy you're gonna have behind the plate for 3 years. That's a huge thing. So I mean, that's early. I mean, we haven't seen him practice one time yet. So
Yeah, give me William Smith. I want to see the big righty. I want to see the big
Throw a
righty.
hundred.
I'm gonna be honest.
Easy.
throw a hundo.
Yeah, I don't know where or when or how often how he's gonna fit into either the rotation or the bullpen, but yeah, give me him. I want to see what he's gonna do this year.
All right, I'm gonna keep mixing these up because they're all over the map. The Fonz asked Mikey
There
and
he is.
Mitch, what is your dream golf course to play, and what is the most famous course you've played?
I think that's a question for me.
Yeah, that's a question for him
Or me?
or you.
I haven't really played a famous golf course. I'm new to like.
Ever heard of Pebble Beach?
Yeah, you played it. I know. You missed our show because of it.
Yeah, 85.
There you go. From what tees?
The club tees, the one that they say you should play for the year.
Right.
We're
No,
not-
well, I didn't know if you played up with your dad.
No,
I didn't know if you played the white tees or whatever they
no,
call
I was
them
on
over there.
I was on the member tees.
Okay, there you go.
Not a member.
Not a member. I haven't played
Have
a
to hit
famous
hybrid off one. You have to met like maybe 4 or 5 iron for you.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind whenever I play there.
I'll get you on.
Thanks. Yeah,
Public.
I haven't played anything worth.
You should do a golf trip.
No doubt. I mean, I've played like, Old Waverly and those courses, but that's not
Oh.
famous. You know what I mean? Like that's not a famous golf course.
Dream golf course, obviously, I think it's even for everybody. If you've even seen a golf club, it's Augusta.
Oh, no doubt, Augusta. If I'm gonna pick one of those, but a course that I really do want to go play, and it's not hard to get on, I don't think, but it seems like a blast, is Troubadour in Nashville. It is
It's more of an experience.
It's an experience. It's not famous. It's not like, oh, this is the top of my golf, but like,
The boys are
I
having
want to
a
go
time.
I want to go take some guys out there that you have to be a member, obviously, very expensive to become a member. You have to own property on the course to be a member.
These golf people are insane.
But it is like you play barefoot. You can do whatever you want to do. They have shots. It's pretty impressive. It's like it's kind of like Blue Jack in Houston, but better.
And then there's the one in, I guess it is Blue Jack.
Bandon Dunes is a nice one to play.
That's a whole trip, too.
Yeah, the New York courses, like there's like 3 or 4 Bethpage Black, and isn't that up there?
Mm-hmm.
There's like 3 other ones around it that you can go play, like Jersey and all that stuff. Like that'd be a cool trip. Obviously in the summer.
And played Dubs Dread in Chicago also.
Played
And-
Trump Doral. That's not.
Did you get shot?
No,
Oh.
that wasn't where he got shot. He got shot at or shot at whatever course that was. Anyway.
Kyron Lacey didn't do it.
No. Also, speaking of getting shot, how about Drake London shooting T-shirts? into the
T-shirt
stands,
cannon.
Apparently,
I like a good T-shirt cannon.
I love a good T-shirt cannon.
That-
But I like the big one, like the bazooka cannon, not the actual like individual gun. The bazooka gets out there, you know.
It's kind of on the
Interesting
it's kind
take
of-
though.
yeah.
But if you look at the way he shot it, like he had a big. It wasn't like he was pulling a trigger. He was pulling something, you know. What a great spin zone!
kind of
What a
on,
great spin zone that was.
kind of on the official there for making a lot of assumptions.
Yeah. What a great spin that was. All right. Anyway, next one.
Next one up. I'll go to a football question here. Kenneth Balala. Ask Eminem.
He's in there a lot too. I love that.
Love him.
Thanks,
and so
Kenneth.
is Brendan Huff. I don't think that's your real name because that's from a movie. But Kenneth Balala, why is it so hard for BK to name Durham running back 1?
Why would he name
shouldn't.
Durham
I
running back?
figured y'all would have a take.
I don't think he should, man. I'm just being honest. Like, I mean, come on, man. Here's the thing. You name him running back 1 in week 2 of the season, and, like, what else are you getting out of the rest of the room, really, honestly? Like, what has he shown you to say he is running back 1?
Well, people would say South Carolina.
Yeah, okay. My point is so what's the point of naming him that
You're
right now? What is
he
he
can
gonna
still
do
have
for
the
you?
carries.
He can still get the
can still
carries.
do
It
what he
doesn't
did.
really matter. He
Agree
I think he probably
1000%.
led the team in carries last week.
You don't have to name him to
You
run
don't
back
have to
1 to
name
give
him
him the
that to
work.
get it that. And the upside of it, not only what do you get out the rest of the squad, but what are you telling the other team too in preparation for you by naming him
Right.
running back 1? How about you keep him right where he's at, quote unquote, in the depth chart, and not name him anything, and use him and utilize him the way
Right.
you want to when you get in the game. They don't need to name him that for us. It doesn't really matter. That's not what they should be doing this for. They need to be able to put the best plan together for them, which is keeping as much concealed as possible.
Right. And he's a freshman, so like you want him to be able to develop. You don't want to rush him into something if he's
Don't earn it.
It's
Like,
like you
you can't be a one-hit wonder.
Exactly. It's like a fresh, to relate it to baseball. It's like a freshman coming in the lineup, and
Oh.
you throw him in the 6 or 7 hole, and he's playing really well, and he's raking. Why don't you move him up? No.
This
He's
works
good right
This
there.
works fine.
We don't
Do his
need to
thing.
move him up. We're gonna keep him right there. He's gonna keep getting comfortable until he's done it long enough to where, like, all right, now
To
your
where,
time is up there.
to a point to where like it doesn't matter. Like if he goes
Right.
3-4 weeks in a row and he's doing this, and you get to I don't know whatever game it is, they're already gonna know who the running back
Yeah,
one
right.
is.
Right. Doesn't matter who's named.
Everybody's gonna know. It doesn't matter what the depth
And you want
chart
to keep
says.
the other running backs checked in
Yeah.
too. You want them to be a
which
part
is
of
what
it.
that's the first. That was
Exactly.
my first point.
Exactly. You want them to be part of it.
Because they've all had.
They're all
Josh
going to
Williams-
play.
Yes.
Josh Williams didn't get 18 by never having a good game.
Right.
So my point is, when he had that good game, they didn't say, "Hey, here's running back 1."
Yeah.
Well, what's the infatuation all of a sudden this year with running back 1? And like John Emery's your running back 1.
There's only one position
That's-
you need to name.
QB1.
one.
Quarterback.
Because there's only one of them that can play. The rest of them, it doesn't really
QB1.
matter. Yeah.
QB1.
Just keep scheming it up.
Who was wide receiver 1 in 19?
Jamar Chase.
Was he?
Yeah, I would say so, but
Or was it Jordan Jefferson?
You had
or was
five
it Terrace Marshall?
Yeah,
My point is, any given day could be another wide receiver 1 or another RB1. And you know what? If it changes every day, that's great.
that's what it's supposed to be.
That is a great thing to have on the team. QB1, 1 QB. Don't want to change that every game. You want one guy there leading the guys, and then you want a million other guys that could potentially be running back 1, receiver 1, tight end 1. You know, offensive line. Obviously, those are all ones. You don't want to be doing that too much. But yeah, I don't think you need to name that.
Vaughn Farelli. Ask Eminem. When seeing bullshit like the players in BK not
Wait,
getting
say that
along,
again? Say that again?
when seeing bullshit like the players in BK not getting along, reports, do you look at who wrote it and see if it's a Bama alumni and see he's just a douche?
I'm assuming
Damn,
he
Fonz,
did.
what you trying to do to us, Fonz?
I'm assuming he did. I'm assuming he said that. I think, hey, listen, there's been a lot of conversation on our end, not here in this room, but in the a lot of the Baton Rouge media in the offseason about Alabama, the fall of Bama. Oh, Saban's not there. All these things are happening. Guys are going in there. And rightfully so, because we've seen them be on top for so long. Saban's not there. Oh, they're going to fall down. That hasn't been the case so far. And I think maybe some of these Bama fans or Bama alum that are in the media heard that. And now they are taking an opportunity to come back out and say things about LSU whenever it's not going as perfectly as we had hoped it would go. I don't put too much stock into that. I think that you can see how they react. It's hard to fake that. Yeah. It's really, in that moment, in those moments that aren't like super scripted, hard to fake it. And to me, it just doesn't look like there's a disconnect problem.
Hard for me to put a whole bunch of stock into a comment that's coming from a 30,000-foot view, right? Like, they're not a beat writer here. They're not in the building here. They're not the ones on the sideline with them. They're not the ones that get a chance to interview them every day. So, like, I could really care less. I don't really think they know much about it.
Right.
So that's just kind of where I'm at with it.
Great.
1 second, copying some more over. Saints question.
Good.
Fonz, ask Eminem. as someone who talked a lot of shit about the Saints being the Aints this year, do I get more respect for saying I will not celebrate on Twitter like I'm full bandwagon to show, and it just says I'm expecting to show that I'm expecting the other foot to drop. I will put myself in this camp. Also,
You and Hunt Palmer.
didn't believe that the Saints could get it figured out this quickly. Obviously, a new hire can do a lot of things. Didn't think it would take on 2 40-plus point games and maybe you're the best team in the league.
It's crazy whenever you do
But
that.
now, that said, I do like a lot of players on the team.
Yeah, it's easy to do that when you have professional players, like professionals doing it. They're all professionals. They're all talented, right? And so when you have a guy that puts in a new scheme that works, and it's a little bit easier for them to execute. It doesn't take as long because they're professionals, right? They've been doing it for a long time. And so do you get more credit for that? No, I'd love for you to hop on the bandwagon. It's okay. But you could say, "Oh, I was wrong," unless you don't think that you were wrong yet, and you still want to
still be pessimistic.
You still want to wait, and that's fine. This is a big test this weekend. Falcons just beat them. The division's good,
Better than people think.
better than people thought it was going to be. But I think that I think that they are real. I think that they've shown that they're real.
More fun to enjoy it than not.
No doubt.
Yeah, when you can get on the board, you obviously show that you're real. I think the real test in what we've seen so far is that now that you see the offense playing at a real competent level, kind of what we haven't truly seen from the past couple of years, you're getting to see the real side of this defense, which is a dominant defense. There's one thing that Dennis Allen has never not been able to do is the guy can call and put together a defense. He's always been able to do that. But you're getting to see that side of the ball play like at their true potential right now because the offense is playing so well. So I think, as long as they can keep playing solid ball, because let's be honest, you're not going to continue to get 40-point games week in and week out. That's just not going to happen. But as long as you keep playing solid ball, you keep the belief in the building, and you keep getting the best part of that defense. Yeah, I think this Saints team has got a chance to really do some special things and make it a really good year this year.
Yeah, that would be fun. Super Bowl is in New Orleans. Script is out. Lil Wayne will be at the halftime show
Where?
in New Orleans.
He's going to be?
I'm just calling it.
Oh, no doubt. He's going to play. He's just not going to be the headliner.
Yeah, I think he's going to get the biggest pop of all time. But they should have done like a Hot Boys reunion, 98 Degrees.
And they may.
They may.
98 Degrees.
The boy band? 98 Disease?
You meant 400 degrees. not
Yeah,
98.
yeah.
Hey, I
I was
don't
like 98 degrees.
I don't think
Well,
98
what?
degrees and get the same pop.
No, that would be
You
awesome
meant
though.
400 and 500
degrees.
degrees. Not 98 degrees. And nobody showed up for that one.
You get Hanson out there too?
Which one?
What?
Oh my
There's a
God.
group.
Chris Hansen.
Is that no? Not that guy.
Not that guy.
Not that guy.
Not the Sunday guy.
How much does he get paid?
Gotta
Scott
be a
or
lot.
Chris?
Chris Hansen.
Which one's which?
I think Scott's the Sunday guy, actually.
Is it?
Yeah, Chris Hansen's To Catch a Predator.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not the one I'm talking about.
Scott Hansen.
Lloyd wouldn't know who the To Catch a Predator guy is. So that's right up
Scott
his
Hansen
alley.
is his
Hey,
name.
a lot of predators out there.
How old do you think Scott Hansen is?
46.
Oh, I was gonna say 45.
53.
Wow, good for him.
Yeah.
That makes sense with the bladder.
Syracuse University. Syracuse is great at great journalism school.
Discredited. I think they took away their.
Oh, did they? They used to be a good journalism
Yeah,
school.
still are, but I just don't think they have the whatever that is for journalism. I don't know.
How much do you
Sports
think
Party
he's-
admin.
school, too, they say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
they do.
No.
No, they
for real.
do.
At one point, it was like a top
swear.
5 party school in the country.
I don't know. I
I
don't
guess
know.
a lot of personalities there, and
No,
a lot of
seriously.
They have a great breakfast spot. I went to a breakfast.
That's the first
Great
place I
pancakes and
ever
stuff.
got introduced to insomnia cookies on Syracuse's campus. I promise you. I was like, whoa.
Is that where it started?
I don't know if that's where it started, but it was one of the first ones they had. And I remember going there and I'm like, boy, if they had this in Baton Rouge, this would be trouble.
and then they did.
And it's trouble.
This is not right. They're not giving him the.
You look at what is it, Chris or Scott?
It's Scott Hansen. I was just seeing how much they had a salary. They don't.
How much should he get paid? He works one day a week.
It's a lot, though.
I mean, it's a
Yeah.
lot, and like I think he's starting to do
the show,
more.
dude. Like, he's the show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
He's starting to do more.
steps on every broadcaster. But I appreciate what he's doing.
he steps on every broadcaster.
When he's going into games, he wants to set the scene while the scene's being set, so you're hearing multiple scenes. Set.
Yeah, but
Well,
he
he-
has to catch you up to
But see,
that.
he's a broadcaster, too. So
Yeah.
That's what. No, I think it's a hard job.
Yeah, it's a very
because
hard
he's
job.
assuming that everybody's only watching Red Zone.
Well, he has to.
Right.
He has
So
to.
from a production standpoint, I would pipe that down, let him do it, then bring that up.
That's what they do, right?
No, you hear both. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can hear both calls at the same time
Okay.
because he's trying to get you to it live.
Yeah.
While he's setting this. It's just, it's not
tough.
really a
Tough
complaint.
job.
Yeah. It's just when you're doing a lot of live things, a lot of live things
Yep.
happen.
Yep.
Speaking of live, Brennan Huff asked Eminem, if you were Tua, would you keep playing football?
Ooh, that's a great question, man.
That's a tough question.
I don't think people truly understand, like, very high level athletes all have we all have this idea that going out, you go out on your own terms.
Don't always
And-
happen that way.
And the truth of it is the amount of athletes that actually happens to is so small. And so the reason I bring that up is because, like, as serious as his injury is and his injury history is, there will be a day and a week and a month, however long it really takes, for he's going to start feeling good again.
Right.
And when he starts feeling good again, that opportunity to put a uniform on will be there. Usually when we don't get to say how we leave the game, it's because no one's still giving you the uniform.
Right.
So when the uniform's still there, that mindset for very high athletes is, I can't go out like that.
Yeah.
And so I do think he'll end up playing again because there's a lot of response. Like, a lot of people sit here and think, and I think that, like, the numbers, like, 140 something million that he already has guaranteed if he says
He's not playing for that.
never again. But then athletes all take the responsibility of, I signed this and I told you I would do this and I'm going to be here for this. And if I don't play, y'all get hit with this. And if I don't play, this fan base will be let down to this level. I'm not doing that. And so, like, all of these things kind of come into play for athletes, and I do think he will play again. I'm not saying that he should. I think that it's a personal family decision,
Right.
but I do think he will.
Yeah, I can't tell you if he should or shouldn't play. You know, he's the one going through it. He's the one talking to the doctors. They're giving him the, hey, this is what the prognosis is if you get another concussion. I have friends that have played in the NFL that have retired because of too many concussions, and they didn't want to risk it anymore. So I can't tell you what to do or what not to do. What Jared says is very, very true, right? Like, you want to be able to go out on your own terms. You love football. It's something that you love to do. You also have to think about your family. You also have to think about long-term health of you and, you know, being able to be a dad to your kids. So it's a very hard decision to make. And, you know, I wish him the best, and I hope that, like, he makes the right decision. And if playing football is the right decision, you know, I'll root for him. I think I've always been a fan of him just because I think he's a good dude. I think he's a good person. I think he's kind of gotten an unfair rap when he got into the NFL, and I think he's done a pretty good job of, like,
Finding his voice.
kind of like progressing to the quarterback that everybody kind of thought he could be. The concussions have just been very unfortunate, you know, and hopefully if he does play, he doesn't have any long-term effects because of it.
I'll add this too. I do think people. I'm not dumbing down the injury of it at all. Like, concussions are real. They're serious. They're lifelong. They're long-standing. Like, it becomes a real thing. But I don't think people understand, especially once you get to NFL football, how prevalent concussions really are. And I've heard a lot of guys talk about it. I've even had conversations with guys talk about. A lot of guys had, like, a buddy system with people where it's, hey, if I get my bell rung on the field and you see it because you're on the field with me, I need you to pick me up. I need you to tell me to play. I need you to tell me
What
the
day it
date.
is?
I need you to tell me what time it is, because they're going to ask me these questions. And if I can't answer them, I can't come back on the field. And if I can't come back on the field, I can't make the money. So, like, these things are it's real, and it's super prevalent in the NFL. And I don't think people truly understand that. But, like, it's not our knowledge of kind of what
It's
that
because of
injury
how
is
Tua's
growing.
concussions are what you see is why people are so impacted by it.
Right. I was about to say, like, our knowledge of what you see is growing, like, of the injury is growing, but as far as for its relevancy to actual players, it's not new. And, like, guys, they just take that risk. I don't know, right, wrong, or indifferent, they just do. just is what it is.
Yeah, it was Chris Hogan and Julian Edelman was the story I heard where Julian Edelman got concussed and Chris Hogan would be the one that would.
No, him and Amendola too.
Oh, it was Amendola. That's who it was actually. Yeah, it was Amendola because they did the pod and he was like, no, that was the buddy system. Like
Ryan Clark's talked about it as well. Like,
yeah,
there's a lot of guys that have done it.
Yeah, like, and I don't think if people knew that when they saw it, they would be like, this is wrong.
Well, they don't. But
you don't know that
it's happening. You see a big hit, you see the guy go pick him up. You don't know what he's being told or what he's telling him on the way up. Or,
good play.
You just don't know.
Right.
You know?
3 minutes left, third quarter, Sunday, 3:25.
Started at 3:25.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro.
When's your birthday? Got you.
Like that, you just. I'm not trying to dumb it down.
No, it's what it is. Like you said, you signed up for the sport, and people don't want to recognize how violent it is. And NFL keeps adding games, so they don't care.
Yeah, to me, like there's one difference, and no one ever talks about this, and I get it. This other sport I'm about to bring up, when you have one of these, you don't go right back into playing the next week or the next play. But nobody looks at boxing or like UFC is like when they happen, you get knocked out, like, hey, you should probably never do this again. Nobody really has that conversation with those guys. But as soon as it happens on the football side, it's like, I don't know. I'm not saying that one's better than the other or that the injury's not that serious. I'm just saying that it's a lot of the same injury. But the conversation happens a lot more on the football side than I feel like it does when you see those other guys go down. That's all I'm saying.
People are watching a lot more of football than anything else, so they get a lot more opinions.
Yep.
Brennan Huff, Ask Him. Would you rather be coached by an old veteran hard-ass coach with championships or a young up-and-coming players coach?
Tough. I like a mix.
Yeah.
Give me a good bench coach.
Honestly, I think right now I lean towards an up-and-coming younger coach that can kind of relate. But those good ones do have a little bit of the tendency.
There's an elite level, and then there's everybody else.
Yeah. That's a very fine line question because I've always been the guy that performs better when I've gotten the truth.
Right.
So just the ability to convey the truth from the other side for me. So it doesn't matter if you are the young up-and-coming players guy that can tell the truth or if you're the old veteran hard ass that can tell the truth. Whatever one that I can get that can literally be like, hey, dude.
Make me better.
Bro, I love you. You suck today.
Yeah.
Like, give me that or, like, literally cuss me out. But I need to know what's real and not build me up buttercup all day.
Yeah, Andy Reid's got a good combination of it. You know what I mean? Players coach, older coach.
Expectation.
Yep. So, yeah. I mean, that's a tough question.
Setting a standard and being able to connect doesn't necessarily mean you have to be one or the other. There is a way to do it by being able to play on both sides of it.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people, like, it's easy to say, like, oh, Nick Saban. And, like, well, that's one of maybe, what, 3?
In all of coaching?
Bill Belichick. Like, I don't know.
And honestly, like, you think about it, too, in the Saban, he didn't work everywhere he went.
No.
He couldn't do that in the NFL. So, you know, like, there's just different ways of doing it.
Kenneth Bilala, Ask Him. Do y'all think Will Campbell will get his act right with the false starts?
I hope so.
I hope so.
If his act's wrong.
Because that does need to, like, we got to figure that out.
Did he have a little bit of that going on last year, too? Just a little bit? Never? Wasn't a thing at all?
He didn't.
Mississippi State was the only game he got penalized for, and it was for unnecessary roughness.
Oh, that's what that was.
Yeah, no,
we talked to him after. He's like, you'd have thought I'd, lost the football game. He's like, my DMs.
I lean towards the less.
Hey, don't give a fuck what you think.
The least amount of penalties would probably be good for us. So yeah. I would like to see him like.
I think the whole offensive line needs to figure that out.
New center, new quarterback.
Right, a lot of new cadences. So yes, I like to see him get that better, and I think he will get better at that.
Brennan Huff, Ask Him. Dovetailing off the other question about the older veteran or up and comer. Favorite assistant coach you played for at LSU?
Favorite what?
Assistant coach.
Javi Sanchez. And Will Davis.
Oh, wow.
And Will Davis. Both those guys are on the same staff.
Man, I look at those guys like brothers.
Yeah, me
honestly.
too.
Like, that's how close they are to me. That's how great they are. I would probably lean towards, because it was my first impression when I got here, Todd Monken. Just to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like, and he was that good of a coach. He was that serious about everything. When you got him off the field, he was the nicest dude. And when you got him on the field or in the meeting room,
don't get it twisted.
Ooh Ooh-wee, he was going to rip you apart. But it was out of, I'm trying to get you and make you better. And I think, like, once again, it was probably because that was my first impression, and he didn't care if you were the top of the totem or if you were literally the last walk-in. If it wasn't good, he was going to let you know. And it wasn't coming out as Mr. Nice Guy either.
That's all you can ask for.
That's all you can ask for. So I think that's probably my favorite assistant coach I had here. And obviously, the tail of the tape goes to show you that he's obviously been a really good coach because look at what else he's gone on and done in his career. So,
Ask him them, Johnny L. Goodson. Do you think
no numbers?
No numbers. Do you think the defensive run fit lapses are due to guys not trusting each other enough to do their job consistently?
Trust is a little bit. I also think you got some guys trying to make names for themselves right now. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just sometimes you're not always asked to be the star. And sometimes you just need to be the star in whatever your role is. And I think discipline in the sense of guys getting into a role, understanding what that role is, and starring in that role, which means maybe today, maybe this week, even though I played this position, I don't need to make 11 tackles. I need to be the one setting the edge, or I need to be the one filling this gap because this is what this team does, and the guy behind me's got to come be the playmaker today. You know, I think that's a little bit of that, and it's not necessarily I don't trust him to make the play,
right?
But maybe it's I want to say I've arrived. When that's a hard thing for kids that are 18 to 22 years old to be able to play within the confines of staying in those roles and understanding what you're being asked to do. You know? And I think it's more of that than it is of I don't trust the man next to me to make the play.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, I think it has less to do with trust and more to do with guys trying to do
too much,
and not like, you know, it's the normal thought process. It's the natural feeling to like, hey, I'm in there. I want to go out and make an impact. Let me go out there and try to do too much. That's normal to feel that way. It's about trying to hone that in. But yeah,
well, and you got to understand too, like everybody, man, those kids come up. You're the best player wherever you've played, right? You come here, you could still be the best player here. But for whatever reason, this week against South Carolina and game days, and I'm not speaking about just this game. I'm like, this is just the closest game, so I'm just throwing it out there. This week, South Carolina, game days here, ESPN's here. I want to go back home and see myself on top 10 plays. I want to go back home and when they run the LSU clip, I want to be one of the plays they're making. And guys get into that idea as opposed to, man, that just asked me to fill this B gap all day, all damn day today, and I'm going to do that the best. And when I get in the film room, they're going to be like, bro, that's the best B gap film we've seen all year.
Yep.
They want to be the ones that you highlight, look at this tackle. Like that, it's just that's what they've done their whole life, right? They've been that through high school. Maybe even been that here a week or two or a year. But maybe this week it doesn't call for you to be that guy. And I think the more you can get guys to understand that and stay true to that, that's how you play better.
Agreed.
11 guys doing your job. It's Bill Belichick.
I know.
Do your job.
As everybody's off work. Kenneth Bilala, Ask Eminem. Do y'all think even though special teams are doing well, will they hire a special teams coach and find a better punter?
Yeah, punter.
Are we firing punters already? Damn.
I mean, I would imagine there probably would have a special teams coach.
Ain't losing us no
point.
games.
No, not yet.
Well,
I would imagine that they would have a special teams coach at some point. You'd hope.
I can see that being on the docket of need be's.
Yes.
and that's what, like, when we talked about the LSU situation versus the Florida situation at the beginning, Brian Kelly made a few missteps. Got rid of McMahon, got rid of Raymond, brought in Polian to run your recruiting.
Yeah, but even with those mistakes, they were still able to have success.
Right, but that's untapped potential, I would say. And then corrected. I think Frank Wilson running the recruiting room is probably a little bit more
shifted
suitable.
Course, for sure.
Have you seen Harlan Berry compared to Reggie Bush? Those highlights with carbon copy, which
I have not seen. I read something about them comparing them, but I haven't seen the highlights.
He pulled up Reggie's highlight tape from high school, which is absurd, and then Harlan Berry's, and they just move the same. I'm not putting expectations that you got Reggie Bush.
Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that fit perfectly into what we're trying to do? Him and Caden Durham would be a good 1-2 punch.
They will be.
All right.
Oof.
Next.
The potential.
With Underwood.
And with Underwood.
And Pickett.
On the other side.
On the other side.
Trey does Green.
Yeah.
Sheldon Sampson, Chris Hilton
Well,
back.
I'm not putting Sheldon Sampson or Chris Hilton in that yet. You gotta show me something.
Ask Eminem. With our run game not working up the middle, do you think we could try swinging routes out to running backs as part of the run game, which I think you've seen a little bit of?
We're already doing that, I think.
You're already doing that. I kind of talked. That's what I hit on a little bit earlier. You got to be a little more creative, and we kind of did get to that later in the game where we use those jet motions, use those fly motions to get people moving and or to stop people's feet to be able to kind of hit you straight ahead. I think I would like to see him doing that stuff a little bit earlier in the game to be able to start using those fly motions and getting the ball out on the perimeter a little bit later as the game progresses.
Agreed. I mean, we've already seen that. I think the bigger question is how are we going to be able to make the running up the middle part more successful than, hey, are we going to swing it out to the outside? Because we already are doing that. But you got to go forward, like meet heavy civil, pushing Louisiana forward.
Or down.
Or down.
Don't put no, they're pushing it forward. Up.
Any more?
Yes. I'm going to put these two together from Kenny and Fonz. Ask Eminem, do y'all think old Sunbelt Billy getting fired? And from Fonz, when Florida fires Sunbelt Billy, who do you think is next, and why is it Bill O'Brien? If they're gonna take
That's a very interesting name.
That's a very interesting name.
or
Or
they're going to take a big swing.
they're going to take a big swing at Rule, too, I bet.
Yep.
Rule's happy in Nebraska. Unless he can get Raul to come with him.
Yep.
Or
calling
maybe he
for,
likes Lagway.
Yeah, I don't like calling for a man's job. I really don't. It's hard to say that.
That phone's ringing off the hook.
It's
guys.
hard
I
to
don't
say the
think-
writing's not on the wall. It's hard to say that the board meeting isn't talked about, like, how are we going to put this buyout together. It's hard to say that that's not in the conversation, at least right now. So we'll see. As to who's next, I don't know, but I do think big swing is – because they went small swing. And if they get to that spot where they make that decision, they're going to look at it as small swing didn't work.
Yeah.
So I would think big swing comes next, yeah.
And
I think they will take a swing at Lane Kiffin. I just don't think that he's going to
Lane, on Vegas odds has Lane Kiffin as the best odds to be the next coach there. I don't think he's going to get there, but I will say, I know the buyout says that Billy, you get your buyout, can't coach, right? And then how it's structured, usually you can't have another. You have to actively look for another job, but once you get another job, I think that buyout starts to whatever. Because my question was, what if Billy gets fired, and then there's an opening again at UL? As you go back to UL and try all over again?
At some point, but isn't that buyout like $27 million?
It's $27 million.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It's not structured. If it's not structured that way, where you can't get another job, he's not gonna do that. He's just gonna be hanging out, consulting.
There's another name out there that once brought Florida to prominence.
Urban already said he already debunked that. He said that ship has sailed.
Well,
That's what he says.
Man,
until they offer him, right?
That man has a propensity to talk out both sides of his mouth.
Until they offer him.
And he's a puppeteer, apparently, from what I saw last time I saw him on video.
Yeah, it's gonna be Deion Sanders in the mix, in the conversation. I don't think he's gonna get the job, but listen, the Florida State job may be opening up again soon too. I mean, boy.
I tell you what, that's a situation that went from outhouse to penthouse, and you're like, bro, did they literally just kick him right back to the outhouse, and you may be out the door?
You go undefeated.
You got to pay rent,
and you've gotten defeated. Wow. So that job may be available too.
So
yeah.
Even I was of the camp. I didn't bet it, but was no way that they lose 3 in a row.
Coach, we've been on board on this show talking about, like, hey, they love him there. He's been great. He was in the running for the Alabama job. Like, and all of a sudden you're like, hey.
I will say before last year, which obviously that gets you a ton of a little.
They weren't good.
A little bit of no. He has not been good at Florida State. His two best.
2 years in a row they've been good.
Yeah.
They've been okay.
No, they've been 10 plus 2 years in a row.
Last year they were great. Year before they were good.
Yeah.
You know,
he was really going into that season 2 years ago. Jay,
that's when it was.
He was in hot water.
Yeah,
then.
right.
And they went out and had a really good year,
and then followed it up with a great year.
And then followed it up with a great year. Yeah. So yeah.
but then following up with an awful year.
This is not a great start.
It's not a good month.
It's not a great year. I mean, no matter what they do the rest of the year, it's not a great year.
Can we also talk about this show? And I for sure mentioned, boy, it's weird how bought in people were on DJU just coming back here and doing great things.
Yeah, DJ Uigui ain't good.
It ain't looking good.
Sticky situation.
Yeah.
Uigui.
Uigui maybe.
Do they have anybody else on the roster?
I would imagine they do. I just don't know who he is.
But no, I'm just talking.
If they did, they wouldn't have went and got him. So
that was more of my point. I know they have a quarterback.
Probably a freshman. Probably someone young. I'd imagine.
I didn't know if they had like a Lagway situation. Like, you got this.
No, they don't. Or they
they would have.
Which Billy kind of fumbled that situation too last week.
That was a fire me move.
What do you mean?
Yeah. Well, playing
Graham Mertz.
So apparently, I didn't know this. I actually heard this today. Greg McElroy was talking about it, but apparently, just last week they both obviously alternated
Possessions?
series.
Yeah, there you go.
When DJ Lagway was on the field, they averaged like 2.8 yards play.
So Mertz.
And when Graham Mertz was on the field, they averaged like 8 something a play.
Yeah,
so he actually did play better.
Right. No, I'm not saying he didn't. I'm just saying like, just the way it's perceived.
You've got
from everyone else. Like,
placate.
damn, we're doing the same shit. We just keep losing. You're just not good at that point. You know what I mean?
At that point,
she's not good.
We're not getting it done.
Yeah. So.
Oh, a couple of late entries here.
Okay, love that.
Josh Noel, thank you, sir. Ask Eminem, what do we think about the National League Rookie of the Year race? Feels like it's already been written in stone, which is.
I don't think so.
You don't?
I don't think so.
Well, I mean, he's a huge
favorite.
Huge favorite.
Who? Merrill.
Merrill.
I know. What are the odds now?
Give me 1 second.
Here's the thing that's weird for me, which I don't understand how he's such a big favorite over Paul. If I went around the league, not even like just looking at stats, obviously Paul hasn't played the full year, and this kid hasn't played the full year either. But if I went around the league and said, give me your top 10 bats in the league, I don't know for sure, but I feel like not a lot of people are going to say Jackson Merrill is a top 10 bat. If I went around the league and said, give me your top 10 starters, I feel like Paul gets more mentions in that 10 somewhere.
Right.
And for me, that's where I'm like, so how is this when you got a guy who legit has a chance to finish with a 2 ERA or under a 2 ERA?
So he's got a 2.07 ERA.
Under a 2.
Right? And so he probably has 2 more starts left. I would have been, depending on what they do with him, 2 more starts. He had a 2.10 ERA going into last start. He went 6 innings, gave up 1 run. Didn't get the win because they didn't score a run. But he gave up 1 run on 4 hits, 7 strikeouts, dropped his ERA to 2.07. If he just stays on that track, it seems like he'll have a right at a 2, maybe a sub-2 ERA, depending on how the numbers work. If he goes and throws a couple 5 or 6 innings without giving up a run, he could potentially be under a sub-2. He's doing something that people don't do, right?
Whether you're rookie year or 10 years.
Right. Like, people don't do this very often. And then as a rookie, I don't think this has been done in like 30, 40 years.
Yeah, but Hideo Nomo.
Jackson, no, or longer than that. Right? They were putting stuff in like the 70s. Like, based off, the stats, like first pitcher and the first X amount of starts and all this stuff, right? And so Jackson Merrill's having an unbelievable season, and they're going to make the playoffs. I think that's the kicker because they're a playoff team. But he's doing things that have been done by
shouldn't be that
other people. It shouldn't.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be Jackson Merrill minus 600 to win Rookie of the Year and Paul Skeens plus 310.
Like, it shouldn't be like
that.
That's crazy to me. Not with somebody who's done what Paul's done for as long as.
Hey, look, Paul can go out the next start and go 7, 8 innings,
he can
strike out 15.
Should we just take a little sprinkle? A little sprinkle?
Look, he got plus money now. Yeah, I mean, I
Jack
think
is writing it hard because he has it at an insane number.
What is it?
I think he has it like plus 600 for.
Oh, really?
And that's why he's upset.
Yeah. I mean, there's still a shot. I don't think it's over yet. I mean, you've seen how much the line has moved over the course of 2 months. I think it could move even more in 2 weeks based off of how they finish the season out. You got another one? Oh, you just left this one at the end, didn't you?
No, these are just coming in now. Fonz Ferrelli. Ask Eminem. You have to pick one to do. Skydive, bungee jump from the highest point, or cliff jump over 60 feet.
Skydive, I think.
Dead. None of them.
I don't want. I don't want a
none of
bungee
them.
jump because I don't want.
I don't want the recoil.
I don't like that because you gotta do it again. You know what I mean? You bungee jump and you go back up and you gotta go back down again.
Yeah, skydiving. It's
I think
a
skydiving,
finite...
you jump and you have a guy on your back that's helping you, and like once you get over that initial jumping out of the plane thing,
Well, you don't have to
obviously-
go back up if you don't survive. It's just over.
Well, I just don't think that you're gonna survive it. I think you are gonna survive, but I just look. I'm not saying I would do either one of them, but if I had to pick, I'd probably pick skydiving.
I've been skydiving twice.
How is it?
The initial is there.
Yeah, jumping out of the plane.
It's better
tough.
than any drug you can do, which sucks. But it is so.
I heard it's.
And I'm terrified of
unbelievable.
heights.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
That's why I did it. Did it twice. Second time, gainer out the plane.
When you drop, when
Coach,
you
I
jump,
went on the Tower of Terror when I was a kid.
Oh, no, no, I
That's
don't like
about
that
as
either.
far you get me right there. I'm
I
not
don't like
doing
that
it.
either.
Not doing
Like
it.
when you jump out,
See, I
like,
wouldn't do that before. I was skydiving before I did that.
how like fast does it feel coming down?
It's exhilarating.
Like cheeks are out and stuff.
Yeah,
And then when they pull the chute, does it like jar you?
Is your stomach in your ass?
it's a feeling. It's really indescribable. It's something that you're like, oh,
I know. I've always wanted to do it.
you should. Everybody should experience it once.
Yeah, y'all let me know how it is.
It's
Man,
My-
where-
my
where-
cousin
where the
who's a-
GoPro?
you know that
I watched the video.
Yeah.
that weird feeling in your bladder.
Yeah.
That's what I just
Dick.
said. Is your
Yeah.
Yeah, your stomach goes to your asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
My
just put the GoPro on. I'll check it out.
my cousin's is a Army Ranger.
oh, he's done it plenty.
Oh, dude, he's a psychopath. He's
Yeah.
awesome, nicest guy in the world. Psychopath.
I'm telling you,
So he's jumped out of the plane a bunch of times.
adrenaline is a drug that you chase for ever.
Yeah,
He's a monster.
He
Just
gave,
not-
he
I
gave
just
me
don't
the,
plan on
he gave me
chasing it
the
that way.
things.
Oh, and let you direct it.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's like, that's the wrong way. He's like, okay. this is
Everybody likes a
confusing.
nice adrenaline. I'm just not planning on chasing it that way.
Yeah, I've always said I would do it. I don't know if I could jump out the plane.
I don't know if I would do these other things. Cliff jump, I would do.
No, sir.
Would you do the squirrel, like the?
I would die, but I would do it.
Would you get on? I don't even know if I'm going on a hot air balloon, Coach. I don't really.
I
See,
kind
I
of
would,
want to do
I
that
would,
too.
I would hate
I
that.
don't know if I'm doing that either.
I think I kind of want to do that too.
We were the second time we were drinking
What about
beers
hang gliding?
on the plane.
No.
No, that's so dumb.
Hang glide. You have to know what you're doing to do that.
No, not even. I'm thinking about like when you're behind the boat.
No, yeah. Well,
That shit's so stupid to me. Like
do
I
that
can
either.
see what's in that water. Don't you dip me down
Jack
there.
said he got Paul at plus 1700.
17. I knew it was something crazy. Yeah, Jack,
Yeah.
we're rooting for you, buddy, because that's I wouldn't show up to work either.
He said he bet the morning of his debut.
Wow,
Yeah.
good call. Great tonight.
Yep.
GG.
We got any more? Or is that it?
Couple more. Oh, Brennan Huff, ask him and him. Do you still have any
I
lingering?
love that you put the logo on the top left.
Yeah, you like that?
I just noticed that.
Did you have any injuries in your career that still linger to this day?
Why you doing that? I mean, yeah.
Your
dude,
ankle.
Like it's yeah.
Do you know when the weather's gonna be bad?
Yeah, I don't think that's really. That's not really a thing, or at least not for me anymore. But yeah, I mean, the ankle injury.
You have any hardware in there?
No.
Yeah. I think that's you when you get the like the weather thing. I think it's the hardware.
No, it's the steel.
It's
Well,
the
I
stuff
used
they
to
put
kind of
in.
have like that feeling, but it doesn't. I don't really have that
Yeah.
kind of stuff anymore with it.
I broke my arm in high school. Shattered my forearm. 2 pins. I mean, 2 plates, 14 pins in there. My ulna and my radius, both the forearm bones.
Yeah.
Um,
Can you pronate?
yeah. I mean, I don't have full range of motion. I mean, most like almost there, but like this one doesn't go as far.
You think that has to do with your golf swing? That should help you.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have anything to do with my golf. It didn't have anything. It didn't affect my baseball swing. But yeah, it still bothers me, especially when like spring training would start and you start swinging a lot. I'd have to go in the training room and they'd have to like,
Ugh.
yeah, really get
You
in there.
Lebanese always do that. The scar raises up for some reason. Tyler Leday has the same thing.
What do you mean it raises up?
Twist your arm. What? Like the bottom? Yeah. Ugh.
Oh, that's fascia. That's not a scar. That's from like them cutting through my muscle.
Yeah. Ugh. That looks worse than the.
It's not Lebanese, it's just part of the.
No,
recovery
but
of the
your
surgery.
scars always pop up over the skin. Just something I've noticed. Not a knock.
Uh-huh. But yeah, that. You have an injury?
Broken collarbone, broken foot, broken hand,
That still lingers.
broken finger. The cut on my foot still lingers.
Man, get out of here, man. Go to the next question. I'm not trying to get that shit.
My wrist. They were never hurt, but they never were fixed either.
Nice. Just
Yeah.
popping. Party trick.
Well, there's a different one. Ask Eminem.
With the helicopter?
Depends on what time.
Go, man.
Ask him him. What are your expectations for LSU baseball in 2025?
To make Omaha
Yeah, that's what I expect him to be in Omaha.
every year.
That's simple. We need another trip anyway, so
Yeah, we do.
I expect him to be there.
Oh, Fonzarelli. Broken finger, torn ACL, MCL, and same knee, compressed disc and lower back, and cut my finger off as a butcher.
Coach, that's not a finger off.
Cut his whole finger off.
I think
Fonz.
nubbin. I think just a tip.
Wow. Wow. I dislocated my
I guess
kneecap
I can't.
like 3 times.
I can't really knock him for the typos now.
There you go. See, how you feel about that?
Great.
Okay.
I mean, that's the danger of the profession.
That's it. You take that risk. You know that risk when you take the job.
Exactly. It's like the
Cut
NFL.
the finger off. Boy, that's a.
That's tough.
Woo-wee.
Doesn't feel good.
Can you imagine where the dopamine is when that happens?
Oh my God. Help.
Yeah. Squirting everywhere.
Don't come on, man. Come on, man.
Party trick.
Don't put it on the rim for him.
Oh man. Ew.
Go, man. Terrible.
That was the last one.
That was it. We appreciate all the questions. That
Oh
was a
wait,
great
Fonz
ass,
hasn't cut a finger
that
off.
was a great ass. That was a
Made
great
that
ass
up.
Mikey and Mitch segment right there.
Thank y'all, boys.
We appreciate y'all. That got us to the 9th inning of the show. Paul threw yesterday, or was it 2 days ago? I think it was 2 days ago.
He allowed 1 run on 4 hits with 7
I know.
strikeouts over 6 innings, 9-17. So it was yesterday.
So yesterday, right? So do you have the schedule pulled up? I believe
Nothing called
they
up.
have. I'm pulling it up right now. Maybe. So they have. Where's the schedule? Why can't I pull the schedule up? Why is it making it so hard for me to do this?
I've got the schedule. God, they play a lot of games in baseball, huh?
Yeah, they do. That's the name of the game. They play a lot of games.
The year. Oh no, this is just everything. Upcoming games. Here we go. 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd. So if it was on the 17th, 24th against Milwaukee, or
Okay.
22nd at Cincinnati, depending on rest.
Okay, so one of those two, and then when's the last game of the season?
29th.
So he's gonna have potentially 2 more starts.
Shuddy.
That 12 more innings, potentially
Paul loves those moments.
15 to 20 more strikeouts, depending
Can't
on how
shoot a
well he does.
basketball, but could be rookie of the year.
I mean, dude, he's gonna have
Sub
and it's not like he hasn't thrown innings. He's gonna have close to 150 innings. I think he has 128 or something, 132 innings, something like that. Like,
Hasn't missed a start.
no.
It's crazy to me that the split.
126 innings pitched.
It's crazy to me that the
126
split is what it is right now. I'm like that. I don't even.
Yeah. He has a chance to get to 140 innings, which is a lot.
Yeah.
He has.
He's gonna have 20,
Like if you didn't have
potentially 23 starts.
If you didn't have
for the
Chris
season.
Sale run away with the Cy Young, the way he kind of has, I feel like Paul would still be in that conversation.
Yeah.
And so, is Jackson Merrill in the conversation of MVP?
Right.
He's not, and
No.
I would say that respectfully. So, like, it's crazy to me that that's what the split is in the Rookie of the Year.
What's
betting odds
Jackson?
right now.
What's Jackson Merrill's WAR? I'm asking you a bunch of questions.
I was just gonna. I was on Paul Skeens. Give me 1 second.
Stay on Paul Skeens. Actually, I know Paul Skeens' WAR, so that's the metric they all love. Jackson Merrill's WAR is 3.9. You know what Paul Skeens' WAR is?
I sure don't.
5.5.
That's your. There you go. Everybody.
I mean,
I
yes,
said,
he's
doesn't
hitting
make any
288 with 24. He's having a great
He's
year.
having a great. I'm not downplaying anything that he's doing. He's having a great year,
Great year.
especially for a rookie. A great year.
Where's he from? Where did he play?
I think he was a high school.
He's a high school kid. I think.
That's probably some of it too. That's incredible.
I mean, that doesn't mean he's super young. I mean, he is.
He was driving the first round of
21.
the 2021 draft from Maryland. High school kid.
Yeah.
He
Second.
debuted at 20 years old this year.
That's the other. So.
Oh, so he has been in the big leagues all year. March 20th was his debut.
Oh, I guess I'll do a hand up. I'll have 10 fingers up. He found somebody else's finger in a pile of meat.
Oh, that's gross.
So he's got all 10. So
That's good. Glad
I'm
you got
off
them
the hook for his typos.
all. I'm glad you got them all. But, yeah, I still think those odds are going to change for the Rookie of the Year. We shall see.
I'll
Put a
sprinkle.
little sprinkle at the plus 300. All right, Lloyd, it's your time to shine, baby.
Are you ready?
Mistake of the day brought to you by our friends at Doe's Eat Place.
The mistake of the day brought to you by Doe's Eat Place. Something Doe's Eat Place does not serve is the beefy 5-layer burrito. Something that somebody has made a bet. We've seen this gone awry.
We've seen this story before.
But this is a different one. If Kansas State loses to BYU, I shove a beefy 5-layer burrito
but the
up
difference
my
is
ass.
nobody knows this guy. This guy's a parody account.
St. Bill Snyder.
Yeah.
Well, so was Knowles 321.
Yeah, but didn't he have his name in there? No.
They had to do some digging, but
How are they gonna find this guy?
same way they found the other guy.
How do they find that guy? How do you even like?
You go through his the people that he's following, and you start firing off some questions. Then you go to Instagram with those names.
A
and
beefy
see.
5-layer burrito. That's
I mean, it usually comes out one way for sure. Pretty easily.
That's probably more doable than eating some shit though.
Yeah, that's easier. Somebody in the comments goes, "We can skip the live stream on that."
Yeah, that one seems like that'd be a tough one. That's a potential mistake of the day.
Yes, I don't know if that K-State's good.
K-State is good. I'm not sold on them.
No.
BYU's a tough place to go.
And another mistake of the day. Somewhat news. Diddy denied bail.
Oh, we
once
talked about
again,
that.
And they're concerned
$100
about
million they offered bail.
Well, he doesn't want to go to jail because there's been some
Well-
situations with people that have potentially had information that ended up not alive.
That's a good way to put it. That's and that's great coming from you. Yeah, and people have already come out and said, "Hey, listen, if
Just
something
hanging
happens,
out.
it's not suicide. Don't let him fool you."
Don't let him fool you.
Diddy's in a spot.
Boy.
He's been in
And
a
a
couple
good
of spots.
And a good spot. Maybe
You know who took the biggest hit from
maybe
that?
they're gonna put some of that baby oil in the.
I was
in the
about to
prison.
say, is
Johnson
Johnson.
Johnson.
That stock's going
On the floor
down.
or on... No, on the floor. On the floor.
On the ceiling?
On the floor. On the floor. On the floor. Can't stand up.
Ah.
Boy, that's rough.
Oh,
Better
you're gonna
keep that
love
soap on
jail.
a rope, bro.
No, he wants that.
You better keep it on there. Better not drop it.
I think he likes that's part of his game.
Yeah, I think he likes the other way though.
No jumping.
I think you can. You probably, commissary.
He likes to be in control of it.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll find out.
Well, that's a tough. That is tough. All right. Curtain call brought to you by our friends at Perkins and McKenzie. Yee! Go ahead.
Curtain call to rest in peace, Adam West, the original Batman. Rumor, he slept with so many women in Aspen that the city banned him for 15 years. It's a
Whoa.
literal curtain call.
Wow. What a legend.
He's Batman.
What a I guess what a rumor to be spread around you.
Yeah, he probably would have liked it came out instead of posthumously when he was alive. Like,
That's crazy.
it's like the Wilt 100,000 women at 100 points. I never seen the tape of either.
You're out of control.
Curtain
Call 2. I would go with our friend Jaden Daniels. I'll give you two numbers, 97.2 and 132. 97.2 is a higher passer rating at this point, and I get it. It's early. But it's a higher passer rating than Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson.
This year
So far. More rushing yards than Derrick Henry, Jahmyr Gibbs, Breece Hall, and Travis Etienne. So if y'all are wondering, the kid is off to a hot start. Hasn't thrown a ton of touchdowns yet, but I'm sure those
he
are
rushed
coming.
for 2, right?
Those are coming as well. So I'm going to give a curtain call to the start that he's had so far. Obviously, I think they play on Monday night or Sunday night this week coming. It'll be a primetime game for everybody back here to kind of get a
Also,
watch
he
on
gets
it.
to come to New Orleans.
There you go.
Playing against
Later
Saints at some point this year. Yeah, so that'll be fun
give
to
him a little
go.
curtain call on that because it's a good start right there. I like it. Keep it going.
My curtain call is to the 2025 Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame class has been announced. And some notable names in that class. Andrew Whitworth, obviously everybody knows who he is. Probably going to be in the Hall of Fame as a left tackle in the NFL. Played for a really long time. Obviously went to LSU. Joe Schuerman, Dale Wiener from
Dale.
Catholic High, Danny Granger. People forget Danny Granger's from Louisiana. Played for the Pacers for a really long time. And the reason why this is my curtain call, my old high school basketball coach, Danny Broussard. He has been a coach for a really long time, I think since the 80s. At St. Thomas More, I think one of, if not the all-time winningest high school basketball coach in Louisiana, and still currently coaching. And he is getting inducted. So shout out to him. I've known him since I was a small child, going to the Danny Broussard basketball camps from a kid. As a kid, you remember those, right? And then getting to play for him in high school. So shout out to Danny Broussard and all of the other inductees in this year's class.
One day.
Maybe. Probably not. Maybe. Hopefully.
Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
All right.
You have to look at the other people in your class. Ronnie, I can put in a word with the guy.
Oh, thanks.
I worked for the Louisiana Sports Hall of
I
Fame.
know you did.
Yeah.
I know you did. All right. That's all we got for you today. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Real quick, Jets. Or Giant.
Keep going.
Yeah, I'm going to get there.
Winnipeg.
It is Patriots at Jets. Thursday Night Football. Who you got?
Under.
Okay. I think that's a good bet. But who you got? I think the Jets win.
I got Jets.
I
like Jets. I think.
What's the spread? Do you know?
I don't know what the spread is. I think that I do like the under. I think this is going to be.
Spread's 6, I think, or 6.5, which I think is high.
What is the over/under though?
Like
30
something. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the under. I do think that Aaron Rodgers is going to end up having a pretty good game. Felt like he looked better last week. Tomorrow looks like
6.5 is a lot.
It is a lot. It is a lot. Favorites haven't been doing very well either in the NFL.
Yeah,
So
I'm done with the NFL.
yeah, so I'm not touching. I haven't bet on one game.
That's why your account looks the way it does.
Absolutely.
It's so much fun to live bet it though.
It is. We'll be back live in studio at our normal time. We haven't had a normal time on Friday in a minute, from 1 to 2-ish. Obviously, Loosey Goosey Friday, Freaky Friday here at Indigo. Doing all the freaky things.
Freak off.
Yeah. Well,
Freak off
be
Friday.
careful. Be careful. Careful. We don't like, can't, yeah, That can be misconstrued.
Maybe we'll cover some UCLA Bruins.
Yeah, that can be misconstrued. Talk to UCLA. Hopefully have our good friend Bryce Kuhn on the show, talking gambling. We do a lot. We could do Mik'd up parlay, 2 for its last 2. Let's make it 3 for its last 3. We're gonna be. We've been talking about some games, talking about where we want to go. If you have any suggestions of what you
I
like,
feel bad for you, son.
throw them in the chat, and we may consider them or we may not. But we're gonna talk about it on the show on Friday. Enjoy Thursday Night Football. Looking forward to being with you again on Friday. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you don't like watching us, but you like listening to us or anywhere you get your pods, enjoy the rest of your night. See you on Friday. Peace.
Peace.
No, don't put that on me. Let's go.
Meet Heavy Civil.